Regular meeting of council order for Monday, June 3rd, 2024. I want to take this opportunity to welcome Ms. Scott as our new CAO to the district of Tumble Ridge and to her first meeting. So from myself and council, I want to welcome you to your first meeting for sure, but welcome to Tumble Ridge. Appreciate you coming in. See you got some staff here, so welcome. Before approval of the agenda, I need to remove 9.1, the 2023 statements of financial information. There's some new information that would be coming forward to council at a later date. So I'll put a motion on the floor to remove that item. If I can get a seconder, Councillor Norbury. Again, I imagine it'll be at the next meeting, but there's some new information for council to go through. Okay, any other questions? Call the question, all in favor? Okay, removed. Okay, take approval of the agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
That the June 3rd, 2024 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as amended.
Seconder, Councillor Klickash. All in favor? Carried. I guess with Councillor Julik and Councillor Noxana are both on via Zoom. Councillor Noxana, since your video isn't working, I'll just assume if you do not oppose the vote that you're in favor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can give a shout out if I'm opposed to anything.
Okay, appreciate.
If that works for you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Okay, adoption of minutes, May 27th, 2024. Council meeting minutes. Recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
That the May 27th, 2024 regular council meetings be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Klickash. Any errors or omissions? Council. Staff. Ms. Scott. Call the question, all in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes, council? Staff? Okay, moving on to delegations. Peace River Regional District, Ashley Murphey, General Manager of Development Services, in attendance to present to council about the regional growth strategy. Welcome, Ashley.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me this evening. Can everyone on Zoom hear me okay? Should be good? Yep. Okay, perfect. Thank you. My name is Ashley Murphy. I am the General Manager of Development Services for the Peace River Regional District. That's pretty much a fancy title for saying that I am in charge of wrangling the building, bylaw enforcement, and planning departments over there. So you are probably familiar with our building inspectors, Devin and Cody, who do provide building inspection services here for the district as well. So today I'm here to talk to you about a really exciting project called the Regional Growth Strategy. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the project, what it is, what it means for you as a member municipality, where we're at to date and work we've done, and the survey, and then what's coming up next, which is June engagement, which somehow it's June already. So next slide, please. So what is a regional growth strategy? A regional growth strategy is enabled under the Local Government Act, as are all of the planning bylaws and things that we do. It's initiated and prepared by the regional district, but in partnership with all of the member municipalities. It's intended to help guide long-term growth. So really, I think of it as a business plan, right? It's looking at the region as a whole. Where are we going and how are we getting there together? Next slide, please. So there are some minimums set out under the Local Government Act. So it must have a 20-year time frame. It must speak to population, employment, and growth projections. It must include a regional vision statement and then action areas for things like transportation, housing, the environment, or other areas that our residents tell us are important to them. As part of this process, a lion's share of the follow-up work will also fall to my team, which is the implementation and monitoring. And so this is a really important piece of this project. This document is not intended to be something that goes to live on a shelf. It has an implementation plan as part of the overall project scope, which will really highlight and give us clear targets and action items that we will be required to report on annually. And then once every 5 years, we'll be taking a deeper look at the overall strategy and determining if it needs any kind of an update, major, minor, or if that strategy is still good where it's at. Next slide, please. So what does that mean for member municipalities? So once the regional growth strategy is in place, the OCP will need to be updated to include a regional context statement. So we are working with our consultant right now to determine what level of support we can provide through this process to help our member municipalities, especially some of the smaller ones. We know that there is capacity challenges, so we're going to try and make it as simple as possible. What that looks like yet, I don't have anything official, but that is part of the process that we're discussing right now. So the regional context statement, your OCP likely already has something similar in it already. It may just need to be tweaked or updated. But again, as we kind of move through this process, we'll look to have those conversations. Next slide, please. So where are we at? We are currently in phase 2 of the process and gearing up for our second round of engagement, which I'll speak to in the next slides, please. Next slide. So engagement, as I mentioned, is really critical. It's a major component of this project. So we have input coming from residents, from councils, from stakeholders, technical expertise kind of from our steering committee. So our steering committee is formed of representatives from your staff from each of the member municipalities, as well as we have representation from some provincial agencies, Ministry of Transportation, Agricultural Land Commission, Northern Health. Next slide, please. So to date, we have done an absolute ton of communications. We know that losing the newspapers was a real hit to our communities. It's hard sometimes to get the information out there, so we have exhausted almost every effort known to man. However, if you're aware of anything else, please don't hesitate to send them my way, because we're always looking for new advertising options throughout the region. So we've done Chetwynd Coffee Talk Express, we've done the Northern Horizon, which is that ag-geared newsletter that most people get in their PO boxes, at least in the rural areas. We've done tons of advertising online, Facebook, social media, websites, Energetic City, as well as radio ads. And so those were actually quite a success, and we heard several people indicate that they heard about the project over the radio, so that was great. We've also reached out and been engaging with the First Nations communities. So next slide, please. We had a survey open from November 23 until February 2024, and that was a short survey, about 5 questions to gear up some interest in the project and help people start to think about what is important to them in the region and what key areas we need to be focusing on further. So we kind of highlighted some potential policy topic areas or theme areas, and then asked respondents to rank those in order of importance. And we had 303 responses, which is fantastic. Now, as I've been giving this presentation throughout the region, I always preface that with we had to assure or reassure our consultant that 303 was in fact a very good response number for this type of engagement, because they are used to working in larger urban centers where they get thousands to tens of thousands of responses, but 303 is actually quite good uptick. So next slide, please. So next slide, please. We started also with an existing vision that we pilfered from the regional board's strategic plan and asked people what they thought about it and what they would like to change. Next slide, please. The majority of people liked it or thought it was okay, but we did get some feedback and the vision has been tweaked. And so going into this next round of public engagement, we will be presenting the revised version of the vision statement for comment and feedback. So some of the top things were kind of no mention of rural character in communities, a need to incorporate First Nations perspectives, too much mention of climate change, which we kind of expected some of those comments as well. So we're getting a good mixture from people. So next slide. So the results of the survey in terms of those policy theme areas I mentioned were the number one being regional economy, the second being housing and affordability, then agriculture and food security, and public health and safety after that. So we also have transportation, parks and natural areas, regional district services, climate change and resilience, and a few additional ones have been added that we heard about through that survey, which we'll have for public review and comment in the next round of engagement. Next slide. So the biggest thing that's come out to date is the regional profile. So this is a really great document. I implore you to go and read it if you haven't had a chance to. It's got a ton of great information about where the region is at currently. So it talks about the population growth, some of the economics of the region. And then it also has this section in it titled Moving Forward. So that's really kind of starting to flesh out some potential policy area or policy topics for those theme areas that I mentioned on the previous slide, and kind of starting to drill down into what does the regional district or member municipalities, what are we able to action on? What are we able to help move ahead? What initiatives can we work on to help support our residents and the betterment of our region? Next slide. Next slide, please. So we're going to start developing the draft regional growth strategy, and it's going to have, similar chapters as the regional profile. And so this kind of speaks a little bit more to some of those additional policy areas that will be going through that engagement. So it's a bit of an iterative process. It's really being informed though by that public and stakeholder engagement. So we kind of, go out, get some feedback, refine, go back out, further refine, and so on and so forth until we hopefully end up with a really, really great plan that's tailored for our region. Next slide, please. So here's some of the policy items that have been proposed. So coordinate and cooperate to maintain and grow a healthy and diversified regional economy, support and promote tourism and tourism-related activity, support regional partnerships and collaborate for safe, healthy, and active communities. So these are some of the things that we'll be further kind of having conversations with the communities about in this next phase of engagement. Next slide. So I kept talking about this all presentation, the next engagement, and that's because it's kicking off on Saturday. We will be out around the region for about 5 days straight with our consultants, gathering public feedback, engaging, and hearing from the community and stakeholders what's important to them. So we will be having, we will be at the Fort St. John Farmers Market on Friday, and then there will be an open house as well that evening in Fort St. John. Saturday will be at, or Sunday, sorry, will be at the Chetwynd Chainsaw Carving Competition, and that evening we'll be here in Tumbler Ridge for a public open house. We'll be out in Hudson Hope, Dawson Creek on Tuesday. So we're going all over the place, as many places as we possibly can in 5 days. But as you are all well aware, our region is huge at 120,000 square kilometers. So we've had to be a little bit tactical in our approach there, but trying our best to get out there. The engagement that we're doing as well, there's going to be a workbook, and the workbook is available as a printable, fillable document. So you can either download it and fill it online, or we do have paper copies available that we'll be able to collect. So for those who may not have access to a computer or internet. Next slide, please. So this is just an outline of this. And I just forgot to mention that it's important to note this project is going to look different. Dawson Creek City Council asked me on Monday if there was some examples of other regions that have regional growth strategies they can maybe look at to understand what they entail. And so I recommended Regional District of Okanagan, Similkameen, and Regional District of Central Okanagan, I think is two of the more comparable ones. But again, this strategy is going to look different here for us in the north because the piece is seeing a lot more economic driven growth versus the heavy population growth that you see in the lower part of the province where most of the current or where all of the current regional growth strategies that exist are based. So ours is really going to be structured a little bit differently and focused on the realities of our region and what's important to our community members here. So with that, I will open the floor for any questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ashley, for coming in and giving us an update in regards to the regional growth strategy. Questions from council? Council Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kikaka. Thanks for coming in, Ms. Murphy. I have two things for you. The first suggestion is you're asking for locations to advertise. We do have a local newspaper called Tumbler Ridge Newslines. They'd be a great place to advertise in. So the question that I have for you is what term of length will this regional growth strategy encompass? I saw that you're looking to review it in 5 years. So does this mean this will encompass longer than that? This is a 10-year plan, 20-year plan, undetermined?
Through you, Mayor, yes, it's a 20-year time frame. That's the minimum required under the Local Government Act. So that's going to be what it'll look like. But we have to do an annual report and then that 5-year kind of more in-depth review of the strategy itself.
No, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from council? Councillor Julik?
There you go. I just wanted to say I'm bummed I'm not going to be in Tumblr the day that you're there. So I'll go on to the link that you provided there and keep in touch with that. And thanks so much for your presentation. And sorry I can't be there in person.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Just a couple comments. I appreciate you talking about how this the growth strategy is different in the north than the south. And you know, we've seen that at the last PRRD meeting with the price of land by acres. Like that just showed it right there. So I appreciate those comments that we're looking at our region and not trying to add from the south or the central, because, you know, I know we've preached it, the PRD board preaches it as directors as well, as we do exist past Hope BC, and I use that every opportunity I get because we don't realize it. We have our own region and all the valuable things we have in our region to work together as a region. So I appreciate the PRRD taking the steps on, but also engaging the region, not just the big centers. And my other question would be just to staff in regards to, I know it's coming up, it's pretty quick. It's on Saturday, June 9th. Are we able to get that on our website and our Facebook pages just to help get that word out to our residents?
I believe we can do that, yes.
Okay, appreciate that. I mean, PRD could just reach out to staff about that, but if we can try to help make sure our residents are aware that that's going on. Obviously, it's during the chainsaw carving, and I know a lot of our residents head down to Chetwynd to watch that too, but hopefully you'll have a lot of people out. Again, I won't be in town for that one, but I'll connect with you at the PRD. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to consent agenda. The recommendation, please. Councillor Norbury.
That all items in the June 3rd, 2024 consent agenda be moved for information.
Seconder, Councillor Dussault. All in favor? Carried. Are there any items council like to bring forward for discussion? Okay. Moving on to 9.2, budget amendment for Water Utilities Department. Report dated June 3rd, 2024 from the Director of Operations and Infrastructure regarding budget amendment for Water and Utilities Department. Recommendation. Councilor Norbury.
That staff amend the 2022 to 2028 financial plan bylaw to increase water maintenance by $30,000 and increase transfer from reserves by $30,000.
Seconder, Councillor Clickash. Discussion. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. I'm hoping that we can get a little more information on this report. Like, I mean, I've read it. I mean, I see that water flow going from the wells to water treatment facility is low, and there may be a leak. So how does that affect what's happening in town? Will that affect how much water we have in the reservoir? Will that affect how much water that we can give to our residents? Like, will that result in low water pressure? Could we start seeing danger later in the summer as more drought conditions arise? Like, can we get a little more information there?
100%. Ms. Scott?
I did meet with the Director of Operations earlier today. I believe that that's not an issue, but he may have something further to add.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, that's correct. So we have a potential leak on the main line. Have been unable to determine where this leak is at this point in time. There is no concern of water supply at this moment. It's just a matter of we've seen a change in our system through our own personal leak detection systems for the district and the training that we have. We have been unable to pinpoint it, which is the request for sourcing out specialists. An issue that we do have with sourcing out specialists is there are not an abundance of them out there. I actually was able to get this information through outside engineering as well as the City of Dawson Creek, which gave me the direction that we've headed down this way. Stating that there are a couple of different systems that we could utilize. The system that I'm looking at right now would best suit our system that we currently have. As far as reduction in water supply, we do not have a reduction in water supply at this point. What is happening is our pumps are running longer. There could be a correlation between that and the increased amount of people in town with usage. But we have not been able to pinpoint this leak at this point in time. We've done everything that we've historically done to try to track a leak down. We've just come up dry.
Thank you for that. Councilmember, follow up, or you're good?
Just maybe a comment there, Mayor Kakalka. I mean, you know, the key point that I heard there was, you know, pumps running longer, right? That could have an effect on our existing infrastructure, and you know, I'd hate for that to fail and us have a major problem down the road. So, you know, thanks to staff for bringing this forward so that we can get ahead of this. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. Any more discussion? I just have one, and I've read the report and everything else. I just want to make sure that I understand that we're looking for some funds and take it out of reserves. I fully support the recommendation from staff. Just want to make sure that we have enough. It just seems like, you know, we've reached out to other communities already. We kind of see that this is the system that may work for us or may not work for us, but I just want to make sure that we have enough in this recommendation that staff is comfortable so that we're not waiting for a council meeting as summer is approaching and we have less council meetings. Ms. Scott?
Again, in conversations with the Director of Operations this morning, I believe he has you know, some fairly solid quotes from them that this is what it's going to cost. But again, I can defer that answer to him.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, as a determination, this would be adequate.
Thank you for that. Okay, any more discussion from council? Okay, going to call the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving on to June 26th. Let's talk. Report dated June 3rd, 2024 from the Deputy Corporate Officer regarding June 26th. Let's talk. Recommendation, please. Councilor Norbury.
That council receives the Let's Talk report for discussion.
Seconder, Councillor Hoffman. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. To be honest, I don't have much of a list, to be honest. I know traditionally around this time, we will inform the public about what's going on with our budget and what we've purchased. I think that's an important thing to talk about our capital projects, to summarize that. My only thought would be, you know, why don't we kind of open it up to the public and see if they have any ideas for us, right? Like, I don't want to turn into let's complain about the district party, but you know, sometimes there's good ideas out there, and it'd be nice for someone to point that out to us, and we can sort of write it out down and say, hey, we'll get back to you. That's my only two thoughts, excuse me.
Yeah, and I believe in, I'll be honest, I think Let's Talks have always been open like that. We've never just stuck to the overview of the budget and overview of the capital items that are on the list for this year and what have been carried forward for the previous year. But it's usually open. I mean, that's why we're there to meet with the public and, take some of their questions and stuff. And to me, I think we should be doing that as council and the mayor and let them ask whatever. It doesn't have to be, to me, budget or capital. But I do believe we should give an overview of the budget, including the increase to water and sewer and the reasoning. Talk about the capital items that we've put on the list this year, the capital items that have also carried over from 2023, and maybe the reasonings. Anything else from council that they would like to see at Let's Talk? Councillor Jelic?
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering if we kind of give a bit of a heads up about the zoning bylaw, because I really want to make sure that our residents get out to that. Maybe even an informal one. I remember one year you guys had one with each department down there. So we had the department heads and then people could talk to whomever. So if we had Chief Curry there, he could talk about campfires, for example, and what that would look like, where to look when campfires have been, those questions that kind of come around on Facebook kind of thing. The other one is so what is Public Works responsible for? If I have this question, who is it that I reach out to? Something like that, maybe. Just my thoughts. I appreciate the other things that have been mentioned as well.
Yeah. I think on something like that, I think, we never gave that direction when we first brought up Let's Talk. And I think there's a lot of work behind the scenes that makes that happen. So I think that could be something that we look at our next Let's Talk. Wow. And give that direction to staff that maybe we're looking for more of a input to have work plans or whatever available from staff side of what they've been working on and what they're accountable for. Working with the new CEO is what I would do. I think it's pretty tough to put that forward today and then try to hope staff can have it done for them. I think if we give them a heads up, a few months to work on it, they're more prepared. Would you be okay with that, Councillor Jelic?
I would, and I just wanted to mention as well, maybe we have a spot there that we can introduce our new CAO, Ms. Scott, if she's comfortable with that. A month into it'll be good. But I thought that would be a good time to introduce her into the community as well.
Yeah, I'll take every opportunity I can. Let's Talk's usually about mayor and council, so be careful introducing staff there, and then it becomes questions to staff instead of the elected officials that are accountable to the taxpayer. Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I really thought of is perhaps an acknowledgement of what happened last year and what we learned from it. I don't think we've really had much follow-up, at least for the community, on referring to the evacuation. Sorry if that wasn't clear. Just sort of an update what we learned, and I don't think we can predict what's going to happen, especially if we get weather like this all summer. I think we're okay, but I think there's a little bit of anxiety going on right now based on that. I'm not sure if we'd be ready for a few weeks from now, but I think that's a subject we kind of let sit for a little long.
Yeah, we may be able to try and, I do have some information from the last, it was all about the fire and we brought in BC Wildfire Services and stuff like that. We had our own fire chief there. I still have some of that information. I mean, I believe that, to me, we may have not given some direction after that meeting to staff to work on some of the things we heard there. So I think council may have missed an opportunity. But when we finished that, we went right into budget. So sometimes it's tough. But I think we can have that discussion. Again, it's an open discussion at Let's Talk. So, but yeah, we can probably come up with something like that and just do an overview and come up with some different plans. Councillor Noxana?
Thank you. This isn't, I don't think something we could make work for the end of June, but maybe looking forward to September or October if we could do a Let's Talk Youth, and perhaps the high school would let us host there, see what our youth have to say and if they have any suggestions for us.
Yep, we'll circle back on that one. I think it's a good idea to look at something like that. Okay, anything else from council? Just want to make sure we were clear to staff that what we're looking for Let's Talk. Ms. Scott?
Yes.
We're good? Okay. Sorry? Okay, Councillor Jelic, thank you.
I just wanted to say at our health meeting last week, Dr. Iffy expressed positive thoughts around when they were able to come to the Let's Talk meeting before. So I think just to keep health in the back of our minds as well, if we're seeing that as an added topic or something. But I didn't say anything specifically for this one, but he did really appreciate having that opportunity.
Invited them. They've been at the table more than once at a Let's Talk. I think it's an opportunity that we can staff just to reach out to see if they're able. I think it's important to have our health services there to talk about all of it, whether it's our need, wants, and how we can assist our residents in that. But there's other things, aging in place and stuff, that they always have the information for. So I think it's something we can add to this one. I'm comfortable with that. Council's good with that? Staff okay with that? Ms. Scott? You're good with that? Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay. Moving on to scheduling meetings. Anything from council? Anything from staff in regards to scheduling? Other? Okay. If people just want to put in their calendar that the Edmonton Oilers are playing the Florida Panthers Stanley Cup Final. First game Saturday, June 8th. Again on June 10th in Florida. Back into Edmonton on June 13th and June 15th. If they have to continue on, there's more games after that. But feel free to put that in your schedules and cheer on a Canadian franchise team. Notice the motion. Oh, sorry, Councillor Hoffman.
I didn't hear the proposal to move the June 10th meeting for the hockey game from the mayor.
I'll still be here in attendance.
Okay, just checking.
We got TVs. I heard we can live feed because the game does start at 5 o'clock. Yeah. We're all good? Oh, you're good? Okay. Okay, any notice of motions? Okay. Notice of motion, signage for nonprofits. Notice of motion brought forward by Councillor Julik at the May 27th, 2024 regular council meeting. Councillor Julik.
That a report be prepared for council showing a breakdown of how many funds have been distributed in 2022 and 2023 calendar years to which nonprofits to which nonprofits around the signage in the community, and that the policy in regards to these operations are included with the report.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Norbury. Discussion, Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Kakalka. I was hoping for some clarification. Would this include the in-ice advertising as well? Is that the intention?
Councillor Julik.
Yes, it was. That's why I said the community, because I was pretty sure we had the fencing and the arena, but I wasn't sure if there was other areas. So that's why I just said community. Thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion, follow-up?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Kakalka. My only question, I guess, is to staff is from donors, is that information publicly available or will we need to black that out? That's my only question there. Thanks.
Ms. Scott?
I don't know the answer to that one. I'm not sure if our CFO can answer that one.
Through the mayor, yes, that anything that is for a not-for-profit and is funds that is given out by the district is public. And so if you give a grant, that's public information.
Okay. Maybe we might need to have staff maybe look into this a bit because I'm not sure if the funds are actually given to the district and the district gives them out. Mm-hmm. Or is that how it's done, Councillor Norbury? Okay, because I was unaware. I don't partake in it. So Councillor Norbury maybe have some more information than I do on that. So, Councillor Norbury?
No, yeah, as far as I know, that's how, a group that I'm a part of, we do that, and that's how it's received. But anyways, yeah, I support the motion as it stands. No issues there. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I'm just wondering what the purpose of gathering this information is for. Is it to clear up the policy, make it a bit more like user-friendly for nonprofits and staff, or are we just interested in knowing how much nonprofits have made off advertising over the last few years?
Councillor Julik?
Both actually, for me, as we look in our budget and how many requests we had for funds, that was a piece for me. And then also, I've had questions from a couple of nonprofits about the procedures and stuff like that. So if we have that discussion, my thought was, and then I'm aware of what the procedures look like and how to advise them going forward. So it's both for me.
Follow-up, Councillor Noxana?
No, thank you though.
Yep, no problem. Any more discussion? Guess my only questions would be, is this information easily gathered? There's quite a bit of stuff on staff's plates, stuff that we've asked to get moved forward. I'm just wondering if this is easily accessible if staff is aware. Ms. Scott, and I understand first day, if we need to wait, I'm fine with that, but.
Or again, I could defer that to our CFO. She might have more information on that.
To the mayor, yeah, it'll take a little bit to gather that information. We have to work with community services to gather up because some things just go down there and it doesn't come to finance. So it's not simple as hitting a button and being able to just search. It's more of a manual process.
Okay. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, any more discussion? So I just want to get this clear from Councillor Julik. This is not, we're not looking for a turnaround quickly on here. We're fine with it coming forward when staff is available. Just want to make sure before I'm in favor.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But this concludes the whole community. So we're talking, again, Councillor Murray brought it up, the ice, the arena, the curling rink, and the ball diamonds that I'm aware of at this time. There may be other locations, but those are the ones I know of. That's correct, what we're looking for sure?
Yeah. Any signs that nonprofits can receive funds from, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm with you, Mayor Kakauka. Those are the three that I'm aware of as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other discussion from council? Okay, I'm going to call the question on the motion. All in favor? Carried. 10.2, District Departments. Notice motion brought forward by Councillor Julik at the May 27th, 2024 regular council meeting. Councillor Julik.
That staff brings a report or policy around the use of the district departments.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Norberry. Discussion. I guess my question would be, do we have a policy at this time in regards to the use of the district departments? Ms. Scott?
No, I believe we do not.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. So it'll be a report that we're looking for, and that's why I asked that question, just so we weren't looking for a policy. So obviously a policy was never made when they, back in the day when they were purchased by the municipality. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, call the question on the motion. All in favor? Carried. Councilors of Business, thank you very much, Councillor Dussault, in regards to the museum reporting. Anything from the floor? Councillor Norberry.
Thank you, Mayor Kakauka. I just have one quick thing. The Boltry's House project, which I'm, the president of the society that owns and operates it in Dawson Creek, we just launched a Facebook page. So we're, the Dawson Creek Society for Community Living is operating for that. So it would be great if councillors could go there and like the page and share the news that people can access information regarding and booking through the Facebook page, because it goes directly to our coordinator there. That would be great, so that we can get some more usage in our region. Thanks.
No problem. Great idea. So it's something, Ms. Scott, that the District of Tumbler Ridge could also do?
Yes, I believe we could. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else from council off the floor? Councillor Dussault.
Yes, I just want to say that I attended the carts last week, and that was fabulous. All the work and the effort that went into the building of the carts, the time trials. It was fabulous. And I also attended the Lions 40th anniversary on Saturday as well.
Perfect, thank you. Anything else from council off the floor? Okay, I've actually had a fairly late week. I did meet with a couple of agency groups in the community and a few residents. And the other thing I did was attended the go-kart program down at the high school. Hats off to all that youth that was involved, but also the parents, the teachers, the district of Tumbler Ridge for assisting them with some staff and stuff like that. Like, wow. Did they ever do an amazing job as a very young group of adults, and obviously with the assistance of peers and people to assist them through it. I understood there were some people who were getting phoned down there the night before because there was some mishaps and some welding needing to be done or such, but it was well done. I think it's just something when you see that happen in a small community, Tumbler Ridge, obviously with the teachers that we have, but also all the other companies that come together. There was Finning, Kanema, the district. I'm trying to think who they were all there, but missed some, but I still appreciate all that input from those companies that come down and help the youth build those carts and be able to partake in the day. And I mean, the weather was amazing. So I think it should be known, and I know the school is definitely sharing it on social media, but they are auctioning off all 6 carts. The last day to bid on those carts is on June 6th. I believe you can either attend the high school or phone down to the high school to place a bid. But again, that just shows support if we can get people involved in bidding on these carts, because then the money that's raised from those carts that the youth have spent so many hours building actually goes to the charities that they picked. And they mentioned all those charities when they were here to delegation, so I think it's really important. I know Councillor Jillick was down there. I got to be introduced to the school district president and such. I believe that School District 59 should buy one of those carts. I said it right there. I think they should buy a cart, install it in front of the school district building, so people that see it and realize it was actually done in Tumbler Ridge with our youth and our students and our teaching program. So hopefully the School District 59 board, including the trustees, step up and start putting some bids on carts, because I believe they should have one out in front of their building. Councillor Jillick.
I think the mayor should have one, that it just, because he has one with Fresh Mart right on the back of it already. I know that our superintendent talked about buying one and driving it back to Dawson Creek, so I'll have to check with her and see if she's still into that. And I just wanted to echo what Councillor Dussault and Mayor Kakalka have said. It was a pretty great turnout, new format, new go-karts to the ones they've done in the past, and then they had hot dogs and stuff there for folks to go and have, and the elementary school, the intermediate classes got to come and experience it as well. So yeah, great thing to be able to bring together.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Make another comment. So there was staff that obviously were able to partake building cards. So I want to thank the intern CAO for that. Obviously, that's not something council gives direction to, but obviously staff was able to make that work. But the other thing I noticed on the day of the race day, the amount of staff that came down to show the support. And I think that it was very, very important to see from the district, from the mayor's side, for sure. But to see that we had staff to go down there and show the support for our youth, and for the teachers, and to me, all the companies that partaked in helping our students down there. So just want to make sure that goes back to all staff, that it was great to see how many staff made it time that worked for them, that they could come down and participate. I think that's great to see within our municipality. So I take the opportunity to thank the intern for CAO for making that happen. Okay, if there is nothing else, I'll take an adjournment from a councillor. Councillor Nobre.
That the June 3rd, 2024 regular council meeting be adjourned.
Seconder. Councillor Klickash, all in favor? Carried.